we Yeah, so let me go back to what Warren Buffett says. He started investing when he was 11, and although he started investing very early, but he always says that I lost the 11 years of my life. And perhaps if people asked him what is the only thing that you would like to buy from money, he says it's his age. So yes, definitely. I mean, in case if we are looking forward to get financially free, we also want to make sure that we have enough healthy years of our lives to be able to enjoy that freedom with us. What's the point of having freedom which we achieve at an age where we are not even able to enjoy that time? Do you guys agree with me? If you guys agree with me, type in the chat box agree that yes, we as investors, we need to be also disease free, also be healthy, so that we are able to achieve this. So also to just give me a moment, guys.
Complete Nagi.
Guys, please, if you can go on mute, it will really help me. Okay, so how many of you actually read this tweet, which was by Anand Mahindra? This was his tweet that came after the death of Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, his ES investor. He specifically mentioned that while he had an interaction with Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, he, one of the advices that RJ has given, that health is one of the most important asset that he has not been able to work on. So probably this is something that also into one of his interviews that he has with Economic Times, he has mentioned that his worst investment has been health, and that is something that he's really not very happy about. He was not really very happy about. I think as an investor we forget, I mean, the importance of health. We get so much indulged into the concept of making money that we forget that our health takes a backseat. I think both health and wealth should go together as a conjunction. So today let me tell you what today I'm going to take you guys through the topics that I'm going to cover. The first topic is I'm going to talk about different body types. I'm going to unleash a few concepts today in this call so that you understand what makes us diseased and what can make us disease free, how we can identify medical conditions by understanding our own body through different body types, and what actually we can do to be able to eat healthy. So these three topics, in case if you guys are ready, and in case if you're ready to listen to me and understand these concepts, type in the chat box BIO. BIO is bring it on. I'm going to bring on all these topics, and probably by the end of this call, I'm going to wind up the call with some Q&A so you guys can answer my questions. And people who are going to stick to the presentation till the end, I have a surprise for you. So make sure that you attend the entire call till the end. So let's get started. So before I begin, can I get a permission from you to introduce myself to you? I would like to take you through who I am, what I do, and what makes me sit today in front of you and talk about it. If you guys give me a permission, just type in GP. GP means you give me the permission to introduce myself to you. So, okay, guys, let me introduce myself. My name is Dr. Sneha Chopra. By education, I've done physiotherapy. You must be wondering why physiotherapy and why you're talking about nutrition. But that is something, there's always a profession, there's always a passion. Let me take you through my story a little bit. Back in my older days when I was a child, I was a very chubby child. And being a chubby child, it was always a curiosity for me to know what is making me what I was in my school days. And I used to always compare myself with those little kids who were petite, who were lean, and they were fit. And, what was wrong with me? And that made me curious to know more about my body. The moment I completed my school, at the moment I entered my college, I felt that, okay, I'm 18 plus and now I can do something about it. The first thing I went was I enrolled into an education program, which was my first certification into health and fitness. And then there was no looking back. And by now I have more than 36 certification in the field of physiology, fitness, nutrition. I learned many things. I'd been a marathon trainer as well. And I've trained more than 1,000 people. And I've really, worked my heart and soul to make sure to educate people on health and well-being. And right now, If I talk about myself, I am running a startup. It's a small organization by the name FitPick, where we are making, I'm on a mission to help people get healthy and fit. And along with the same, I'm also a health educator. I run my own Instagram handle, my YouTube channel, where I'm educating people on health. And along with the same, I'm also a mother of 5 dogs. Me and my husband, we are both dog lovers. So that's all about me. I also believe as an individual to live a life of frugality and minimalism. I prefer to live a life with minimalistic living, and I think that's what also connects me to the elite program. I think that's what, while we chart our expenses on step one, we all know that yes, we have to make sure that we're living that frugal life, and we're not spending a lot. So that really also connects me to you guys. Okay, so let's start with our first topic. How do we really remain disease free? Okay, so before that, it's really important to know, how we get the diseases. Can I have some inputs in the chat box? Tell me what do you guys think can make us disease free? What do you think? Give me some inputs. Tell me what are the things that can, make us disease free? What do you think? Give me some inputs. What do you think? Do you think it's diet, exercise? Give me some inputs. Use the chat box. Tell me what can make us remain disease free. What do you think about it? What if in case, let's say you want to remain disease free, what will you do? Okay, people say that we are going to control our tongue. Okay, great. Calm our mind. Lots of vegetables and fruits. Yeah. Active and stress life. Okay, stress free life is, I'm sure, Abhijit, you meant. Yeah, absolutely. These are the things that you think. I mean, this is exactly, this picture defines what you guys are talking about: healthy living, eating, getting up early, working out, fitness, having green teas, eating all the fruits and vegetables that you need. But trust me, today in this 1 hour session, remaining 45 minutes, I am not going to talk about any of these. I'm not going to talk about you should exercise. You already know it. I'm not going to talk about you should eat healthy. You already know it. But I'm going to unleash some important topics, okay, some important principles which actually makes us disease prone. What are those things? How to identify them and how to remain away from them. That is what I'm going to cover today in this call. So what are these things? Okay, so the most important concept that I'm going to unleash today are the hormones. Okay, you will say you're going to take me back to science. Teach me science, teach me biology. Yes, I might teach you a little bit of that, but trust me, at the end of this call, you will tell me that yes, now I understand my body. I mean, today my job is not to actually opt in for a professional who is going to guide you on what to eat. Rather, understand your own body and take the decisions what's going to correct you. And these days, people want to take charge of their life, and that's what I want to make sure that you do that. And out of the hormones that I'm talking about, the one most important hormone that I'm going to discuss just right now is called as insulin. You might all have heard about this word insulin. A lot of you might be knowing a lot about it. The moment I, say insulin, a lot of things, a lot of you would think about those injections, insulin hormone injections that people with type 2 diabetes, type 1 diabetes ends up taking. Right. But that's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about the hormone insulin that is produced in our body. And that hormone gets produced in our body by pancreas. What happens is when, hormone is produced in our body and it gets higher levels. What do we call it? It's called hyperinsulinemia. That means that there is a chronic level of a repeat level of high level of insulin in our bloodstream. What happens when we have chronic high levels of insulin? The reason why I'm talking to you today is now you will understand. In fact, the list of the diseases that I'm going to give you right now, all these diseases are caused by this chronic high level of insulin. What are these? Type 2 diabetes. All of you know that India is becoming the higher capital of this medical condition, type 2 diabetes. And a lot of people these days are getting detected with diabetes even at a very early age. The reason is chronic level of high insulin in our bloodstream. Heart disease, stroke, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, dementia, and fatty liver, all these problems. Now, I want you guys to use your chat box and tell me if any one of you has either one of these problems or your loved one has one of these problems. Type in the chat box yes if you either are having any of these problems or in your life have been related with high cholesterol, fatty liver, or you have one of your family members that might have got any of these medical problems. I am glad, Mitesh, to know that you don't, which is awesome. I'm sure that you are going to be taking care of your diet to be making sure that you don't have, but I'm sure either us or one of our family members or one of our loved ones is surely going to have one of these problems, and these problems are only increasing, and we have to make sure that we find a solution to it. And the most important problem that we face these days is obesity, and we also end up gaining weight because of this. Now let me take you towards the concept why this actually happens. What happens is why there is high levels of insulin in our blood. So whenever we eat food, okay, there are different components of our food. We have carbohydrates, fats, proteins, right, and fiber, of course. So when we eat food, the food breaks down into multiple of its byproducts. Let's say if we talk about carbohydrates, it gets broken down into another form, smaller form called as either glycogen, and that further breaks down into glucose. And that glycogen is supposed to get stored either into our muscles or into our liver. And when we need energy, this glycogen burst is released into our bloodstream and the glucose is supposed to go up. The job of the insulin is to control this into a level where we are not getting an elevated level. Now, what happens is if we eat repeatedly, if we eat too much of carbohydrates, or we are not living a healthy lifestyle, the level of insulin will go up, not because of insulin alone, because of our eating habits and our lifestyle. That's why, because of the affected lifestyle, the entire glucose going up, the insulin is also going up. And what happens to the excess glucose? It gets and converted into fat in our body, and that leads to obesity and further leads to all these medical problems. And let me tell you, we don't get detected with high level of insulin the moment we get the medical condition. It gets detected at a very very early age. In fact, it may start happening even from your childhood itself, and you end up having the medical condition after 5, 10, or even 15 years. So it's very important to know what are the final reasons. How do we really become disease free? Now let's talk about the science. What are the signs that that will define that we have high level of insulin? The first is excessive hunger. You might not have diabetes, you might not have cholesterol problems, you might not have hypertension, or even distantly you might not have any of the medical conditions that I mentioned, not even obesity, but you might experience these things like excessive hunger. You might feel that you're eating food, but in spite of eating enough food, you still feel hungry, or you feel like munching at night at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, because you are not able to sleep well. Your sleep is disturbed, you're munching at night, and in spite of the fact that you're eating so much, you still ends up feeling hungry. And apart from that, you also crave for either sweet or salty food. How many of you actually feel something like this? Either excessive hunger, in spite of the fact that you've eaten food, you feel that you are still feeling hungry. Type in the chat box yes in case if you feel that you connect to any of these problems, or maybe insomnia or night munching, or you might have experienced something like this in the past. Yes, probably this might happen because of our either busy lifestyle, or the lifestyle that we're trying to live right now. So how do we really fight this up in case if we have ourselves, or maybe this call might help you to identify these problems with your loved one as well. So how do we really work out on this chronic high insulin, which will further help us out to be disease free? So first thing first, you have to stop triggering insulin. Insulin is since we know that now that insulin, if our insulin is elevated all the time and we are going to feel hungry all the time, we have to make sure that we stop triggering insulin. So we have to stop everything that is actually causing this trigger. What is causing this trigger? Too much of carbohydrates in our diet. Yes, absolutely. Now, when you look at your food plate, okay, I'm sure all of you might be knowing that we have certain, food sources which are carbohydrates, certain food sources which are proteins, certain food sources which are even fats, right? So when you look at your plate, it should have a combination of proteins, fats, and then carbohydrates. Why I am saying this is because the kind of lifestyle that we have got into, especially even after COVID, most of us have either gone work from home, or we are not even working all 7 days outside, and we don't even have to do a lot of physical work. All the work has become more mental. Even if we go to our offices, we are mostly sitting on our laptops to do our work. So there is a very stringent need of deciding what to eat and what can help. Fats will help you out, actually give nutrition to your brain because you're doing a lot of brain work. Second, your proteins will actually help you out, slower that process of, the aging, and that will really support your muscles and bones. And then the carbohydrates, because you are moving less and you are not as active as a human being you used to be about 100 years back. So try and get to a diet which is going to be a little bit low on carbohydrates. Now when you look at your plate, if it is aloo paratha, then you know that that's a lot of carbohydrates, right? You're having potato as carbs, your roti as carbs, and that's what you're taking. No proteins and probably some fat. Then probably we are going somewhere wrong. You probably have to look at your food plate and make sure that you're sticking to a more of a low carbohydrate diet. What else we can do? Have food which are good on fats. When I say fat, means all good sources of fat. You should have nuts, you should have seeds. Probably these things have more good sources of good fats. We have omega-3 fatty acids, which has these two components called as EPA and DHA. They are extremely good for the brain to function. And since we are doing more mental work, we should actually focus on something like that. And next, this is more technical. Low GI food. GI means glycemic index. And most foods are ranked by this number, which is called as the glycemic index, which defines how much time our body will take to consume that food. Okay. And most carbohydrates, which are either starchy or too much into carbohydrate quantity, will always have a higher GI index. For example, all vegetables have a very low GI index. Now, let's say if I compare a bowl of chicken, egg, or paneer salad to just a sabji and a roti, the GI of the salad plate would much be lower as compared to your sabji and roti. The reason, so probably if you make a fine choice between your salads, which also has a protein, some fiber, low GI food, and maybe some good quality of fat like seeds and nuts, you're really taking a healthy meal. And focus on something called as autophagy. This is something, if you are disease free or if you have any medical condition, a disorder like diabetes, high cholesterol, blood pressure, you should also think about this very important concept called as autophagy. Now, what is autophagy? Autophagy is nothing but it's the self-healing process. We all know that in case if we get fever and if we don't eat medications, and we don't eat medication, say for the next 6-7 days, automatically our body's immunity will fight on its own, and it will be able to get to a phase where we are able to also heal by our own selves. Similarly, we should follow autophagy. How do we follow autophagy? Means self-healing process. Our body has the capacity to heal even from these disorders. So how can we do that? We have to try this method called as 5-4-3-2-1. If you guys are with me, can you quickly use the chat box and type down 5-4-3-2-1, and I'll explain you what this 5-4-3-2-1 method is. This is one of the concepts that I personally, have implemented with my own patients and have seen tremendous results. Okay, this is no rocket science. This is how we eat. Okay, this is the pattern of eating that we do. Thank you so much for supporting me through chat. So 5 meals, 5 meals in the day. Everyone knows that we are supposed to eat a morning, mid, lunch, mid meal, and dinner. But if you really want to heal yourself, understand this concept. Let's say for your age and for your lifestyle, you're supposed to hypothetically eat 1500 calories. Okay. You divide that 1500 calories into this proportion that I explained it to you, to break it down into proteins first, fat second, and carbs third. And then distribute the 1500 calories into 5 meals. Okay. That's your first job. In 5 meals means you should have a morning meal, a mid-meal lunch, a mid-meal dinner. Okay. Then gradually move it to 4 meal pattern. Okay. Adjust your body to eat same 1500 calories to probably remove one of the meal. Let's say your breakfast and your lunch has a mid-meal called as fruit. Okay. include that fruit probably in your first meal, or maybe in your second meal, or maybe just half an hour before your lunchtime. So what will happen, your body will get into a fasting zone, and that fasting zone will be between your breakfast and your lunch. Okay, then gradually, if you are able to master a 3 meal pattern. That means that you start eating a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner. If you can adjust the timings of your dinner, probably if you're eating at 10 o'clock, move that timing to say at 7 o'clock or an 8 o'clock. What will happen? Your body now will get into three different fasting zones: breakfast, lunch, dinner, and from dinner to the next morning. Every one of you might have heard this concept called as intermittent fasting. Today, here I'm telling you how to correctly do intermittent fasting. How many of you have actually tried intermittent fasting or heard about it? Type in the chat box yes. And I know a lot of people, patients, come to me and tell me that they started intermittent fasting but they didn't continue. Why? Reason is this: because you start adapting your body from that zone where you're feeling hungry, you're feeling high insulin, your body is going to not have enough glucose between the fasting zone, and you will further feel even more hungry. Intermittent fasting will not work for you that way. The best method is to do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So the moment you've been able to master 3 meals during the day, and only 2 days in the week, if you do 2 meals a day, that means that you create fasting window between 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then 6 p.m. to the morning 10 a.m. You are actually in that state of fasting, and that fasting will result into what? Autophagy is the healing process that your body achieves when you are not eating and your body is trying to rest up, your digestive system is trying to rest up, and it is getting into the healing process. I hope now this is clear. If you guys have questions, we'll park it till the end, and I'll answer all your questions at the end of this call. Okay, let me move ahead to take you through this body evaluation test. I have put in these 4 pictures in front of you. If any of you can relate to these, there might be a possibility that you don't relate to any of these, and that's totally fine. If any of you are able to relate to this, I'm going to quickly take you guys through this. I'm going to ask my teammate Aarti, can you please put the link in the chat box for the assessment? It's an assessment about this body evaluation. You guys can take this assessment also. I'm going to give 2 minutes also for you. Let me put the assessment as well. So you guys can take the assessment. And with that, you guys can, okay, the link is shared already. Just give me a moment, guys. Meanwhile, you're filling this, go ahead and fill the assessment. In case if you're able to relate to any of these, you just fill out the assessment, and this will really give you a good idea of what is your body type and what do you really feel, and how is your body actually relating to this current problem. Just give me a moment, guys. Let me share my screen again. Yeah. So I'm talking about these assessment evaluation tests. If you guys take another one more moment. Meanwhile, I'm going to quickly take you through what body type I'm talking about. The first body type that you see, if you guys are able to relate to this is called as the adrenal body type. That means that your adrenals are impacted. Adrenals are nothing but small pea-shaped glands which are also just located above your kidney, and the hormone that gets impacted if you have adrenal body type is called as the cortisol hormone. I'm not going to get into this detail. This is something that is already available on my YouTube channel. If you guys can go ahead and follow me, you will be able to understand what these body types are and what you can do in order to reverse your body type. Second image is about the ovary body type. It's a very typical female body type that most women in India have, where you have proportionality of fat mostly around your lower body as compared to the upper body. And the affected hormones actually estrogen. Third one is the thyroid body type. If you have that body type where you feel that you are accumulating fat overall, you might definitely have a compromised thyroid gland as well. And the fourth type is when most men actually have this kind of body type where you ends up accumulating fat around your belly. And trust me, guys, that's actually not fat. That's called ascites. It's the excessive liver that's oozing out bile that's getting collected in your abdominal cavity. And let me know, there's one common factor in this body type, which is high level of insulin. Insulin is high in most of these cases, and that's why we end up getting this. And that's how we end up also accumulating fat. Now, let's come to the most important concept, which is how do we really burn fat? How many of you, type in the chat box, wants to actually reduce weight? Okay, let's say you want to, burn fat, get to 5 kg down, 3 kg down. If you are one of those, please type in the chat box yes. Then we know that, okay, this concept is also going to be with for you, and you feel that you've gained weight, maybe one of the body types, maybe not one of the body types. And if that's the scenario, type in the chat box yes, so that we know that yes, this concept will really help you. So how do we really burn fat? Let's understand this cycle. Maybe if you don't have to lose weight, maybe there is someone who you love has a target to achieve. You can give them this concept and let them understand what can actually help them to reduce weight. So first is, how do we burn fat? We burn fat when we stay in ketosis. Now, what is ketosis? It's the state when our body understands that we have to burn fat. So when does the body understand that we need to burn fat? So let's understand a little bit of the concept here. When we eat food, as I explained you, our carbohydrates get broken down into glycogen, and then glucose gets converted into energy source. Okay, let's say if that glucose gets depleted from our body, okay, that there's no glucose, then body understand that there is a second source of energy in our body, which is the stored fat, which is available everywhere around our arms, belly, thighs, everywhere, even our face as well. So it will start burning the secondary source of energy, which is fat. Okay, so that's when the body gets to fat burning process. It's called ketosis. When do we really do this? One, when we are exercising. Number two, when we are sleeping. Number three, when we are creating fasting zones. If we are eating lesser than what we are supposed to, the body will start burning fat. Number two, when we exercise. Number three, when we sleep. Yes, sleep is also one of the reasons why you can gain weight, or you can also lose weight more efficiently. In fact, a lot of my patients who come to me, especially who are the ones who recently started working on a night shift, or has a routine where they are have changed in the timings from morning to evening or evening to morning, they end up gaining weight because their sleep pattern is reduced. And when is the next when you can reduce fat or burn fat is when you activate something called as growth hormone. Growth hormone gets activated, it's also called as the fat burning hormone. It gets activated when, number one, we exercise. Number two, we sleep. In fact, growth hormone gets activated maximally between 11 to 2. If you might have observed weight gain recently because of a disturbed sleep, it is because your growth hormone was not getting activated. So it's one of the, in fact, a lot of times you might have experienced that the next day when you get up, you had a sound sleep and you feel very light and fresh, and that's because of the growth hormone. And what else can help you out activate the growth hormone is the high intensity interval training workout. Just like how intervals of eating, especially your intervals of eating or fasting can help you, similarly your sleep and your interval training exercise can also help you. When you do high intensity interval training workout, that means you exercise, you rest, you exercise, you rest, you actually burn more fat. And fasting, of course, I just explained you the concept of 5 4 3 2 1. That means if you're able to master slowly, week after week, this process of adapting the body to survive on fat and not eat during your fasting zone, you will actually burn more fat. And the last thing, as I explained you, the most important thing, you have to learn how to stop triggering insulin. If you're able to master these concepts, if you're able to, in fact, this is what we've recently seen in our community, people who work out 2 days in a week versus people who are working out 6 days in a week. People who were working out 2 days were reducing much faster as compared to people who worked out 5 days. Reason? Because people who worked out 2 days had a better recovery time, because they had to optimize that time to work out best. They were doing a high intensity interval training workout, they were reducing even faster. So if you combine everything together, eat a low carb diet, uh, try and use fasting, and probably work out only 40 minutes 2 days in the week, you will be able to also start burning fat better. I hope these concepts are getting clear in your mind, how we can really work this out. And today I want to give you guys some small actions that you have to do. Okay, this is going to actually help you out. Take steps, take charge of your health. There are a lot of people who've mentioned that they want to really take action, I am going to, there are some questions which are coming up. I know, let's take these questions at the end. I'm going to have a dedicated 15 minutes Q&A round so that you guys can take questions and I can answer them all one by one. So there is a small action. A lot of people who said that you want to reduce weight or you want to target a healthier lifestyle, probably reverse the insulin factor. So there are small targets that I want you to take today and small actions. Think about a goal today that you want to achieve. Think about it right now. Okay. And I want you to quantify this goal. Like, what is it? Let's say you want to reduce weight. Okay. What is that goal? 5 kg weight loss. Okay. Just keep it in your mind that I want to reduce 5 kgs. Okay. That 5 kgs is the goal that you want to achieve. Keep that in mind and tell it to yourself that I want to reduce 5 kg. Let's say that you have a medical condition and you want to reverse your insulin hyperinsulinemia. Then is there any number that you have seen in your blood picture? Let's say your HbA1c levels were higher. Give a number, okay, that okay, I want to take my HbA1c level to this. Okay, let's say I want to normalize my HbA1c. If you have any other target, let's say insomnia, if you're not able to sleep properly and you want to focus on sleep, so what is it that take a goal in your mind that okay, I want to sleep for 3 days a sufficient 8 hours. Quantify that goal. Okay, and now I want you to put a timeline to that goal. Can we do that? Can we think about achieving that 5 kg in that timeline? And I want you to define that timeline. Define that timeline very precisely. Let's say we are sitting on September 25th today and you want to achieve 5 kgs. The doable target according to you is, let's say, 3 months. Okay. So can we aim October, November and end of December, 3 months to achieve that goal? If you think there is a larger number to achieve, can we probably time it to 6 months, or can we time it to 1 year? Or if you're looking forward to achieve any of your medical parameters, can we think about achieving the same probably in a particular given period of time? If you have taken that action, if you have created that goal in your mind and you have given also a timeline, I want you to take 2 minutes and tell it to yourself. This is what I call the power of affirmations, the power of positive thinking and mindfulness. This is your goal card today. I want you today to go back home, think about this goal for the next 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year target that you have taken for yourself, for your health goal, and tell it to yourself and visualize today. Visualize that you have achieved that. So, what I want you to do is think. Let's say if your goal is to achieve 5 kg weight loss, I want you to think, I am 5 kgs lighter. Or let's say if your HbA1c values is your target, my HbA1c values have gone below 5. I have successfully reduced weight or reversed my medical condition. I am happy and healthy. Let's say if you have a goal to run a half marathon, write down, I ran a half marathon by this date. Whatever is your goal. I want you to do this activity right now to yourself. Say it to yourself, say it louder, say it to yourself that I am 5 kg lighter. I have happily reduced my weight by end of December 2022. When you tell it to yourself, trust me, the power of affirmations really, work wonders. In fact, I would like to take you through my journey of weight loss as well. Back in 2017, I was at an office. I was supposed to attend an office event. The moment I went, I thought I'm going to just, wear an official attire. The moment I got dressed, I realized that dress wasn't fitting me at all. It was very, all my colleagues were waiting downstairs because we had a meeting and immediately we had to rush for the event. I had no choice but to fit into the same dress. I felt so regretful for wearing that dress. I was feeling guilty. I was feeling shameful. I went to that conference to attend, but I left that conference halfway. It was very heartbroken for myself, but that was the day I made that decision. I stepped into the house, changed into my other clothes, stood in front of the mirror, told myself eye to eye that I'm not going to put myself in the same zone once again. And that was the time I made that decision. I reversed everything. And this is exactly what I did. I told myself, looking into eye to eye, that yes, I am going to be this in the next 3 months' time. And that decision made my life. And trust me, when you want to achieve any health goal, be it anything, your mind plays more than 80% role in deciding what you have to achieve. If you're able to master that, and that same happens to what you're doing right now as well within this community of elite program as well. If you're able to decide, make that decision that yes, my goal is to achieve financial freedom in the next 5 years, 6 years, stand in front of the mirror, write down, take a piece of pen and paper, create a goal card, write down what you want to achieve, by when do you want to achieve. There might be possibility that if your goal is say 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, you might get derailed. But when you look at that goal card, that paper, that piece of paper that you wrote it for yourself, when you look at it, you will feel that energy once again. You want to train your mind to make that decision. I think that's where most people lack. We need to make sure that I train our mind. I think this is one activity that I want to leave you with. Make sure that you write down this into a goal card. If you write it down on a piece of pen and paper, even better. Tell it to yourself, take that decision, and make sure after 3 months you come back to me and tell me how it was. Did that really help you out? And one last bit that I want to tell you, if you've taken that target, also break it down into action steps. Like, what are you going to do to achieve that goal? Let's say your target is to achieve 5 kilos. Now, what are you going to do about it? Maybe say you want to take a target of 5,000 steps 2 days a week. I think that's doable, right? You want to eat a balanced diet. You want to avoid outside in the next 7 days. Take a target for only 7 days, okay? Those 7 days actually are going to build that habit for you forever. And implement those 3 action steps that you have decided to do for the next 1 week, Monday to Sunday, and make sure that you implement that. Let's say, and try and take targets which are very easy to do for you, because the start is the most difficult part. If you're able to start on that, trust me, it is going to become even more easier. Just to also quickly brief you guys about me and my brand, I run this small startup called as FitPick. I'm the one who founded this, and we are on a mission to help about 1 billion people get healthy and live a disease-free life. And we also have different programs with us. We have something called as NutriLab, where we are helping people define their nutrition, help them understand how they can eat better. We create their diet plans. We also have one-to-one coaching, fitness coaching, where we're helping them exercise at home. And these are the testimonials. A lot of people have achieved results. And I mean, recently we have also reversed a lot of pre-diabetes condition, where we have been able to get their parameters under control. And apart from that, you guys can, I think somebody asked me about my YouTube channel, my Instagram. So my Instagram is Sneha Chopra with an H extra. And my YouTube channel is by this name, Dr Sneha Chopra PT in the bracket. You guys can follow me there. I do a lot of concept sharing over there that would really help you out learn more about these concepts. I'm also available on LinkedIn if you want to connect with me over there. And just for the elite group members, I am offering a free 7-day trial for one of our programs. And the only reason why I want to give this trial is so that you can get started. Because if start is the most difficult part for you, you can get started with us for 7 days. You will have 3 coaches to work with you, a team of professionals to work with you, a nutrition expert who will define your diet plan, help you out get started on a diet plan. You will have a motivator to motivate you and get started on your journey so that you don't derail in the first 7 days. And with that, you're going to get an observer to make sure that your program is working completely fine. So we are offering that 7-day free trial absolutely for free, for exclusively for elite subscribers. Aarti, can you please share the form link? So Aarti, my teammate, is going to give you the link here in the chat box. You can fill in if you are interested to take that first step, the 7-day step, so that you're working with a team. The team can hold your hands, take you up. Once you feel that, okay, you have that journey with you for the 7 days and you're able to master that, you can continue with your journey. Aarti, if you can share the link, it'll be great. And yeah, the second link, the form link that's shared on the message, please use that. The first link is for the assessment form. And meanwhile, you guys are filling in the form, I am keeping the round open for questionnaire. You can use the chat. Let me screen through the question that has come here. Meanwhile, if you have more questions, feel free to ask whatever questions you have. Okay, Vinita has asked how to stop triggering insulin by eating less. Okay, the concept of eating less is very vague. I think you don't have to eat less. As I explained you, when you move from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, your number of meals will reduce. But that doesn't mean the quality of the food will reduce. Okay, when you actually implement this method of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, this is what we are implementing with our current clients, and we've seen tremendous results. And when we are doing something like this, what we are trying to make sure is, we are trying to make sure that whatever calories, okay, that are suggested to someone as per the RDA, that calories are taken care, probably not in 5 meals, probably say distributed in 4 meals or 3 meals, whatever is the quality of food that you're supposed to take. Let's say you are supposed to eat enough proteins. In fact, if you want to know how much protein you're supposed to take, is your ideal weight, you probably multiply it by zero point 0.8 if you're sedentary. If you're working out every day at the gym, then you multiply it by 1. That is the gram percentage, the grams of proteins that you're supposed to take in a day. You can initially start with 60, 70, or even 80% of the proteins intake. And then once you focus just on one component, you will understand the rest will automatically fall around it. So you're supposed to take quality food, and you're supposed to eat enough and sufficient to be able to also make your day run normally. The only way you have to define is to work on lesser triggering of insulin is by creating those fasting windows. And how do you really define those fasting windows is by taking quality food, but try and reduce the number of meals. And it will not happen in a day, trust me. It takes weeks and weeks. Maybe 5 meals balanced diet is what you have to start with, then probably gradually move to 4 meals. Then maybe after another 10 days, you will be able to only master 4 meals to 3 meals. And maybe in 2 months or 3 meals, you'll be able to master something called as intermittent fasting. I hope that answer your question, Vinita. Anybody else who has any questions who would like to ask me, please feel free to ask question in the chat box. Or if you want to come live, you can unmute yourself, and you can ask me any questions too. I'm open to that. And please feel free to ask questions. You can follow me on my YouTube channel, on my Instagram account as well, so that you can find the answers to all the questions. I have done a lot of concept sharing on insulin resistance, on diabetes, how to reverse, how to work on type 2 diabetes. All of those concepts are there on my YouTube channel. You can follow that. And I keep sharing 1 or 2 videos every week so that you get to know new concept. Recently, I did a video on cruciferous vegetables. In fact, I've been doing a lot of research in terms of understanding what can really reverse cancer. So lot of people are getting detected with in fact, recently a close one's son, very young 5-year-old, got detected. And I've been reading a lot about it, and I personally feel that we do have cure even by eating right. So I've done quite a lot of videos there. We have another question by Minesh. Which is the healthy way to increase the weight? Okay. All right. So yes, weight gain is also one of the challenge. So there are different body types, even in terms of gaining and not gaining weight. Somebody who's not able to gain weight might have an ectomorph body type, wherein the body is not able to accumulate fat. Okay, so there are 2 ways to actually gain weight. One is to either gain fat, or you either gain muscle mass. Okay, since somebody who has a typical ectomorph body type, you're not able to actually gain fat. The best way to increase weight would be to start gaining muscle mass. So how do you really gain muscle mass? So the concept of gaining muscle mass is where you get your muscle into this concept called as hypertrophy. Hyper means increase, trophy means breakdown. When you make your muscles break down into multiple fibers, and since our body has the healing process, it will multiply that fibers into, so 2 will become 4, 4 will become 8. And how does that happen? When you exercise. So when you exercise, your muscles fibers are supposed to be broken down, and that causes hypertrophy. And hypertrophy will help you out gain muscle mass. So please go hit the gym and try and do some more strength training. Try and overload your muscle with some weight. I mean, don't do it immediately from day one. Get a good coach who can help you design your workout program as per progression. And the moment your body gets used to that, you will be able to gain the muscle mass that you need. In fact, that would be the right way for you to gain weight. Gain weight through muscle mass, not through fat. That will never happen. I mean, that can happen if your body type changes. But the easiest way immediately is to start working out and start increasing probably a little bit more muscle. In your case, you don't need 0.8 gram, you probably need 1.2 gram per kg body weight. Okay, we have few more questions. Please mention 5 meal timings and type of food. Okay, meal timings, it totally depends on your lifestyle. If you are somebody who ends up starting your day at 9 o'clock, your breakfast can be at 8:30. Your second meal can be at maybe 10:30. Your lunch can be at around 1. Your evening meal can be around 4, and your dinner can be a little early. But if you start your day a little later by 11 o'clock, then your breakfast timings also go haywire. But my personal recommendation would be, if even if you do 5 meal a day, make sure that you try to reduce your dinner timings, and also make sure that there is enough time between your last meal and your dinner. What happens is, when you do something like this, you will always have a better probability for your growth hormone to trigger at 11 o'clock. If you had your dinner at 10, you sleep at 10:30, your growth hormone doesn't get triggered. That means that you're sure going to gain weight in some time. Like after 5-6 months, you will see 2 kg, 3 kg weight gain. But if you shift your dinner timings to say an 8 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, I mean, for a very long time, I've been used to eating my dinner at 6 and I don't feel hungry anymore. So, this is something which will come with practice. Try and move it by 15 minutes each time. And trust me, that will really help you. Even if you stick to a 5 meal, if you focus on increasing that fasting window at night, say from 8 to next morning 8, almost 12 hours to increasing to 14 hours, that will really help you achieve greater health, better health. Okay, after some weight reduction, now it's stopped. Even after low carb and fat diet and daily walking, what to do? Yeah, a lot of people face that. Achieving, breaking plateau is more important. This is what we always tell our, my patients also when they are working on their diet. Make sure that your body is not getting used to one single pattern for more than 45 days. 45 days you should be able to change. Okay, and that change can be anything. That change can be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's say if you are able to implement a low carbohydrate diet and you are able to also eat a fat diet, but you feel that the last bit is not getting hurt, maybe you want to implement something else. Maybe try intermittent fasting, eat 2 meals a day. Okay, maybe try a different types of workout. This is what I have personally seen with my community as well, that the lady was working out 5 days in a week. Trust me, that was not helping out. Even increasing intensity was. We completely changed the routine to move to 2 days workout. Like, this even mind doesn't accept, right? 5 to 2, how will the body work? Body actually work. The reason was she had the cortisol body type. Her cortisol was elevated. So what happens when you have a cortisol body type? It's also very important for you to know what is your body type. If your cortisols are elevated all the time, your body will actually feel more stressed out when you're putting more stress. That means if you're working out more extensively, you will not lose weight. You need to relax your body, probably do more mindfulness, yoga, or exercise is probably not more than 2 days in a week. You need larger recovery time versus anything else. So that would probably help you. I think if that answers your question, Dr. Yogesh, that you need to implement changes versus what you've been doing right now. Probably a 360-degree change. Try that out. Maybe that would help. If you want to connect on a call with me, I have sent a broadcast message from my WhatsApp. You can drop me a message. We can connect on a call. Probably discuss this in detail. Understand a little bit more about your body type and see where you're getting stuck. A lot of times there are underlying reasons because of which this gets stuck. So if we are able to find out the reason, we are able to break that plateau. Anybody else? We do have 3-4 more minutes left. I can take a few more questions. Just to also, tell you guys that today after this session, please make sure that start implementing some effort. Okay, let's say if you were working, try and increase your walking speed. Okay, if you were working out at the gym, make sure that you implement or try another different workout. Or in case if you are somebody who's has been able to eat healthy and probably has been eating a lot more healthier, take cheat meal. This is what I always tell people. Take a small cheat meal. A lot of times we have seen a lot of time people achieve plateau the moment we give them a cheat meal. They are able to reduce weight. Why? Because the mind gets used to a particular pattern. We need to just break that pattern. So probably try and make certain changes in your routine today. Try and take some steps. Try and take some actions. I'm sure those actions would really help you out. Any more question, guys? Let me see if there are any questions in the previous one. Okay, no more questions. I think that's it for today. Guys, thank you so much for being a wonderful audience to me. And I think you guys have made my Sunday. I feel already pumped up, energized. And I hope you guys have taken up some concepts back home. And I hope that would help you out, learn a little bit more about nutrition. If you guys want to connect with me on a one-to-one call, please feel free. And all the best for your elite journey. I don't know where you are in your journey and how soon you are about to achieve your financial freedom, but I really wish that you achieve your target bang on the time, and hope to see your story floating soon in the elite community. Thank you so much. Please don't call me ma'am, I'm very young. uh, I'm sure I'm talking to people who are older than me. You can call me by my name. Thank you, Vijaya. Thank you, Vinita. Thank you, Dr. Yogesh. Thank you so much, Mr. Manoj, for helping me out with conduct this. Thank you, Minesh. Thank you so much. All right, guys, carry on with your Sunday. Enjoy the weekend break. Bye.